All right. So, when to pump and why? The general rule of thumb is unless you have a reason where you absolutely need to, or you are planning to exclusively pump, you want to try to avoid pumping before 6 weeks. The 6 week period is a very delicate period where your supply is regulating. You and your baby are learning a flow of breastfeeding, and introducing a pump too early can just add more unnecessary work and stress to what can sometimes already be a mildly stressful situation, just navigating life with a new baby. So avoid pumping for the first 6 weeks if you can. There are some instances where, how did I know that was going to happen? I knew that was going to happen. And for some reason, I didn't listen to myself. And I said, I'm leaving the house and I feel like I should just pack some nail glue just in case one of my nails decides to fly off. And what just happened? One of my, I knew was going to happen. I predicted that. Well, nail in the pocket. Anyway, so there are some instances where you may want or need to pump before the 6 week period. One of the reasons is you prefer to be an exclusive pumper where you are not latching the baby to your breast at all and you are only pumping. Some moms have a baby who has to stay in the NICU. Those moms may have to pump. Some moms need to pump a little sooner because they're going to go back to work. They want to make sure that their baby's going to take a bottle. And then you have instances where moms just simply want some extra help to get some sleep. So they introduce a pump so that a family member or a partner or somebody else can help with feeding the baby. And then some moms are maybe not exclusively pumping, but are doing 50-50, right? So they're doing half breast milk, half formula, and sometimes those moms will pump as well. Otherwise, like I said, if you can help it, try to avoid the pump for the first 6 weeks. Also, one of the reasons why we like to ask moms to avoid it for as long as possible is because be careful of the wire. Your milk supply is very, what's the word? I don't know if I want to say impressionable, but like the early days are very delicate, right? Not expressing milk often enough can make you lose your supply real quick. And sometimes moving milk too much can make you have an oversupply, and that is also not fun. So pumping too early can sometimes lead to an oversupply, which I don't recommend. I mean, if I had to choose, I would definitely rather have more milk than not enough milk. But oversupply is definitely not fun. It can be very painful. Hey, Renewed Energy, welcome in. Give me that, please. Play a tablet if you're looking for, no, if you're looking for a snack, the snack is in my bag, but you need to sit down. Or else I'm not bringing you to the office with me again. In the other bag that you put on the door. At least I think. Or did I put it in there? You find it. Anywho, Life with Chris, welcome in. So, avoid pumping. Hey Marv, welcome in. Happy Saturday. Avoid pumping for the first 6 weeks if you can. That's what you want? Okay. All right. So we can move on to storage real quick. So I have these magnets that Well, my friend actually designed the art for it, and then I made up the rest of it. And then, so these are like business card size magnets, and they have the milk storage recommendations on it. So, storage for freshly expressed milk. Room temperature for up to 4 hours. And we're talking your average room temperature, not the middle of July when there's no AC in the room. Welcome in, Cass. So room temperature up to about 4 hours. In the fridge, 3 to 5 days. 5 is on the very high end of like, it might be okay if you have a real cold fridge, and maybe if the milk is in the back of the fridge where it's coldest. Hi, Cass. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. We are doing Power Hour, and we are talking about pumping and different pump types and a bunch of different things that have to do with pumping. Right now, we are on the topic of milk storage. In a basic freezer, you can store your milk for up to 6 months, and in a deep freezer, up to 12 months. Congratulations! Congratulations on your new arrival. Storage for thawed milk that was previously frozen. So once you've frozen your milk and you've thawed it out, room temperature for up to 2 hours. You're welcome. In the fridge for up to 24 hours. And never ever refreeze milk once you've thawed it. Yeah, that one is the spicy gum. It's not the same gum I had in the car. When you are feeding any type of milk, once your baby has started to drink milk from the bottle that has been prepared, they have 2 hours to drink it. You don't want to, even if they only drank a little bit and you're like, oh, let me stick this in the fridge because they didn't finish it. You don't want to do that. You want to just leave it out and use it within the 2 hours max. You don't want it? Okay. Use it within the 2 hours because the mouth has bacteria, and bacteria can begin to grow in the milk. That's the old one. Give me. So you want to use the milk within 2 hours. Shh. Okay, so real quick again, for freshly expressed milk, room temp for 4 hours max, fridge for 4 days. I say 4 days because it's 3 to 5, so like somewhere around there. The basic freezer for 6 months, deep freezer for 12 months. Previously frozen milk that has been thawed, room temp for 2 hours, fridge for 24 hours. Hey Liz, and never refreeze once thawed. Milk storage recommendations are pretty easy to look up as well if anybody needs it in the future. Ways to store your milk. Self-care central is what it says. That's crazy. Hey Tatiana, welcome in. Ways to store your milk. So if you are storing your milk in the fridge, you can definitely, like if you're pumping right into the bottle, you can store it right in the bottle. Hi Becca, thank you for the daily. You can store it right in the bottle. You can buy a pitcher, or like they have these different milk storage coolers that you can use. Or you can use the little milk storage baggies, which I didn't bring any with me. But they basically look like a Ziploc bag, and they're usually just long, rectangular. Most of them hold up to like 8 ounces or so. Thank you for the pops. And you can store your milk in that. If you are storing milk in a container like this, I'm doing good. How about you? if you're storing your milk in a container of any type, it's important not to mix freshly expressed milk with cold milk that you already have in the fridge. So you're going to want to put it in a different container, and then once it cools down, then you can combine them together. So that's the only like downside. Good, good. Hey, the right shirt, welcome in. Hey, Jay. So you don't want to mix. Okay, thank you for the daily. You don't want to mix freshly expressed milk and milk that's already cold. So you want to put them in separate containers, and then you can combine them together. Some people, especially people who exclusively pump or pump often, they will sometimes just pump into bottles, put them in the fridge, and then collect them in a pitcher. And then they'll separate them out into the milk bags at the end of the day, or after like every 2 or 3 days. And they'll separate them out. They'll lay the bags flat and freeze them to store that way. So there are different ways you can, store the milk. Most commonly, I think people just pour right into the bag, into the baggies. All right. So, let's talk about fitting and accessories. So I did a little bit of talking about fitting with the last segment that we did. And I mentioned the importance of your flange size being the right size.
Why is that the big one?
I'm mirrored, so it's weird. Your flange size being the right size is important. So this part right here is your flange. And it's my handy dandy demo. I better not get flagged for this, because this is an educational demo. They better not play with me, but we gonna see. This is your flange, right? The average pump comes with a size 24 or 28 millimeter flange. However, the average mom needs a size 19 to 21. A good amount of moms are not aware of this information, and they're often just using the flanges that come with the pump. And when they don't read the manual to know, like, hey, one size does not fit all, they're probably just going to use whatever comes with their pump, and they're like, oh, these are the parts here, this is, and you put it on, and I mean, it just seems like it's supposed to fit, right? So welcome back, Renewed Energy.
Wait, it's not even here.
Shh. Thank you for the daily. So what happens is, if they don't have the right size, they are not going to pump effectively more times than not. So, hi Nay, you want to make sure that you get fitted. You can get fitted before, but you slid through prematurely. It's okay. You can get fitted before you give birth, but I definitely recommend getting fitted afterwards, because things can change in size. And size is not the only thing that makes a difference with your flange, but also your anatomy, because some people have what we call elastic nipples. So when you're pumping, the nipple will get pulled really far into the flange, and that can be painful. It can cause swelling, sometimes even bleeding, and that is not fun at all. So it's important to go see a lactation consultant to get fitted, and to discuss your individual anatomy, because everybody is different. So this is a flange fitting tool, and it has the different sizes on there, the different millimeters, and you essentially would just size yourself by putting the nipple through each hole until you figure out which one fits just right. You don't want it to like get stuck when you're trying to pull it off, but you also don't want it to be too roomy where it's like, you want it to just like a perfect fit. You know what I mean? That happened to you with your firstborn and your nipple swelled real bad. Can you stop pulling that, please? Stop. Yeah. So people have to, good afternoon, Chris. People have to be aware of not just the size, but their specific anatomy too, and how it responds to a pump. So getting fitted by a lactation consultant is really important. So once you find out your size, you can either order new flanges, or you can order flange inserts, which are usually like a silicone insert that you can place inside to make it the right fit. The only time that the flange insert doesn't really work is if you need a bigger size, like much bigger than what comes with the average one. Thank you for the daily. So also important is making sure that you thank you for the fireworks. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You want to make sure that you are updating your pump parts frequently. So we mentioned this also last time. Your pumps usually, well, if you have a wall pump, and we're going to talk about the different types of pumps shortly, but you may have tubing, what we call the duck bill. Right here, this piece is removable. And you, depending on the type of pump you have, you might have some other pieces like no, that one doesn't have it. Did I just see it here? Yeah. Y'all, I went to the gas station. This is totally unrelated, but I was just thinking about it as I was trying to like take these pieces off. I went to the gas station to pump my own gas for the first time since I like started doing my nails for real. And yo, why I couldn't get my card out the card reader. I was like, I started thinking in my head, like, what can I get out of my car that could like help me pull my card out? I could not get the card out the card reader for a minute. Thank you for the daily. Yay, I'm so glad. Yes, sometimes those preemies, like, they can't hold as much. And actually, I was going to talk about belly size too. I have my little belly size, my tummy thing on. But yeah, sometimes they just can't hold as much at one time. An average newborn, their belly is only the size of a marble when they're first born, like this big. So imagine a preemie is probably about half the size. Imagine trying to fit 2 ounces of milk in a vessel that's not even that big. You know what I mean? So I'm glad that the smaller and more frequent feedings are working already. So I don't even remember what this piece is called. I'm not gonna hold y'all, but some of the pumps come with this piece, and it kind of just has to do with the suction. And so just check your manual. Every pump is going to be different because there's so many different types of pumps. But it's called the diaphragm. But check your individual pump and see how often they need to be replaced. I can take this off now. This is a really fun tool I like to use with the families because it actually has water bags inside, and you can actually squeeze water out. I'm not going to do that right now, but thank you for the firework. So yeah, the bellies are really small. I usually wear this, and I have other things to show the parents like the belly size, because they get really discouraged when they pump and they get like this much milk out, and I'm like, hello, Your baby's belly is only that big. On day 3, their belly is about the size of a walnut. And then once they are around 10 days old, their belly is about the size of an egg. And fun fact, their stomach stays that size for a really long time. Like a really long time. Think of us as adults. The average adult stomach is only about the size of like a potato. Our stomach is only about this big, unless your stomach is stretched. But your stomach is only about this big. So a child is about half the size. So once they hit around 10 days and their stomach is about the size of an egg, it stays that size for a really, 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 really long time. So that misconception that as they get bigger, you need to start, like when I see these babies and they're like 8 weeks old with a 6 to 8 ounce bottle of milk, and I'm just like, that's a lot of freaking milk in that bottle. They'd be like, but they're so hungry. No, they're so hungry because you stretch their stomach out prematurely. So, I mean, yeah, they may actually be hungry, but it doesn't mean that it's normal. It means that you stretch their stomach out. So we have some accessories that we can talk about when it comes to pumping. So we talked about replacement flanges. So we'll talk about accessories, and then, oh, I have this. I didn't, hey, Sherelle. I didn't put this in my, I'm not even going to bother with that right now, but it's in my showcase. I do have lactation stuff in my showcase. So this is in my showcase. Thank you for the daily. So this is Pump Princess, and I talked about this in the last segment. Also, I just didn't have it with me. This is to help a little bit with the supply, but more so to help with the mechanics, because like I said, some people have the supply, but they don't really respond well to the pump to get the milk to actually flow. So this has herbs in it that can help with the actual like stimulation of the milk to flow. So again, I don't recommend supplements very lightly. Most people don't need a supplement. I'm going to say it again. Most people don't need a supplement. Only about 5% of people who are breastfeeding actually will have, why are you ripping up my stickers? Move from there. Don't be a menace. Show me ripping up my good stickers. My uterus stickers. Like, why? Why? Anyway, only about 5% of people who are going to breastfeed will actually have a problem breastfeeding or producing milk. Most people who think or say that they weren't producing enough, most likely they probably were underinformed and did not have enough support. Most people will make enough milk. So for those who might be looking into any supplements, for one, talk to a lactation consultant, and for two, I got some in my showcase. Come ask me about them if you need it. Not really an accessory, but I guess we can call it. These are pump wipes. Really love these. They're really good, especially for people who are on the go, or you got to go to work or whatever. Breast milk can be very fatty. So if you ever think of like you put like spaghetti or something that can be oily in a Rubbermaid container, and then it's like you feel like you're never getting the grease off of it. Breast milk can kind of be like that with your pumps and your bottles and stuff. It can leave a film on it, no matter how much you wash it. And you know, you don't want to be putting too much chemicals on your pump parts and your baby bottles and stuff. These wipes are no rinse wipes. They have no harsh chemicals. They're plant-based, and you can remove breast milk residue. So I really, really like these. They are from Dapple. I don't know if these are in the TikTok shop, but I'm not going to say anything else about that. I'm just going to say these are some really great wipes. I will look for them in the TikTok shop though, and I will add them to my showcase if I find them. Stop. So these are really good. A heated massager, wonderful. When I talked about the mechanics, getting the milk to flow, this is one of the things that can help for people who have that problem. So warm compress, this battery is not charged, so I can't turn it on. But you can just kind of put it like this, and as you see, it's curved so that it can fit right there. You can just kind of stick it on the side. And heat and massage can be a really great way to help stimulate milk to flow. So this is a great accessory to have. Even if you're not planning on pumping, this is still a good accessory to have, especially in those early days when you get really engorged. The mature milk starts to come in. If you feel a clog forming, or some mastitis or anything like that, this can be a really good tool. If you don't have this though, honestly, a cheap way is a hot washcloth, or fill a clean sock with like rice and warm it up, place it on there. You could use a lot of people today use an electric toothbrush. So if you have an electric toothbrush, you could, or if you have adult play items, which a lot of people also have, you can use that too. Just saying. All right. Next up, I have some different pumps. And this is, I feel, important because all pumps are not created equal. I'm gonna start with a good old-fashioned handy dandy manual pump, which to some people it may seem a little archaic, but this bad boy right here was my jam. Okay, this was my jam. Some people are like, you gotta sit there and manually just like crank it. Yeah, but let me tell you, this gives you so much control. Exactly how much like suction you want, and the speed and the flow, the rate of how you're pumping. This gives you so much control, and this was my favorite. I was able to really get the most milk when using a manual pump. They are cheap, they are lightweight, easy to take with you. They will never DIE on you. So, I mean, this old trusty. I recommend that anybody who is breastfeeding, that they keep a manual pump like in their pocketbook or in their car, that can just stay there in case they're ever somewhere and they like, oh crap, I didn't plan on being out this long, now I need to pump. You can hand express, yes, but a lot of people don't really know how to hand express, don't know how to hand express well, and you still gonna need to find a container of some sort. So this is just really great. Hi Akuma, welcome in. So a manual pump, really one of my favorites. Good evening to you. Thank you for stopping in and tapping the screen. We are talking about pumping and breast pumps for the new parents out there. So if that is anybody that you know, if it's for you, feel free to join us. Thank you for the daily heart me as well. You love TikTok. I love TikTok too, most days. So this manual pump, my favorite. Yeah, they're cheap. You can usually get one for like 20 bucks. Also, a manual pump is really great for people who want to collect some milk, but don't really want to set up a whole pump. And like, you can easily use this because it doesn't have any tubes or anything to plug in. If you want to express milk while you are also nursing your baby on the other side. So that is my favorite. So you could have your baby here, you could be nursing, and then you could attach this on the other side and you can pump one side while you nurse. And this is also really beneficial because while your baby's already stimulating one side, your milk is going to be flowing a lot easier, and it will usually yield a lot more milk. And if you want to use an electric pump that you plug in with the wires and stuff is all in the way, well, then you can just utilize a different hold. You can do football hold so that the baby is not as much in the way with legs and stuff over here. You can tuck your baby here, do football hold, and you can use your electric pump on the other side. You can use a pumping bra so that it can just hold it in place and you won't have to hold anything. Or you can use a wearable pump and use one on the other side. So that being said, we'll talk about, this doll cost me like $200. It's real heavy. It has a heartbeat. It breathes. I don't know if it's on or if it might be out of battery. It's out of battery. I gotta replace it, but this doll is heavy. It feels like a real baby.
That's not wrong.
Okay. So this is an off-brand, a cheapy brand of a wearable pump, but I'll move on to that next. There is another pump that's called a Haka, and I didn't bring one with me today, but it's a silicone pump, and you can just squeeze it, attach it here, let it go, and it will just like suction the milk out. I will say you need to usually be really full or nursing the baby on the other side for it to really work to its full like potential. Because if you're not super full and you're not being stimulated on the other side, you're gonna get like kind of the bare minimum. But it does work well. It's really great for like just a quick, or like if you want to collect milk in those early days. Remember the first 6 weeks where I said try to avoid pumping if you can, but like if you need to relieve some engorgement or something like that, that's a more gentle way of extracting milk because you're not actively pumping it. It's just a one-time, like you suction it on there and then it literally just the pressure pulls the milk from out of the breast, and it's just like a stream of milk that comes out. Yeah, the doll is great. I've had it for a few years and it's held up. So this is a cheapy brand of wearable pump, and these can be really great. Usually with these you pre-order with the size that you need, because as you can see, the flange is a part of the actual pump itself. You listen, that's happened to me a few times. I've almost overflowed a couple of Hakas before. The flange is a part of the actual pump. So if you don't get the right size that you need when you order it, you will need to get a flange insert, the little small silicone part, to put in there so that it fits properly. These pumps are really good for on the go. They're good for like I said, you want to maybe pump one side while you're feeding the baby on the other. Maybe you got to wash dishes real quick, whatever. I don't recommend using these as your primary pump. If you are somebody who is an exclusive pumper, this is, or if you're pumping at work and you need to have enough milk for your baby for the next day for when you're at work, like this is not your ideal, like regular use pump. This is like as needed, right? Many people do well with a wearable pump as their primary, but again, it's not one size fits all. So it's not an absolute, this is going to be not good for you. But if I had to recommend, I would not recommend using this. Welcome in, you guys. Hey Tisha, hi Victoria. We're doing Power Hour, and we are talking all things pumping, and different types of breast pumps. Thank you for the daily.
Wait, I have to pee on my pants.
How? Turn around. Let me see. Lift up your dress. No, you didn't. So these usually come with a detachable piece that you can charge. So there's the charger port. You charge them up. They are battery operated. You have your diaphragm up here connected to it. And then this is your flange, essentially. You still have parts that may need to be replaced every so often. Oh no, this one is on here. Some of them do have ones that you will have to replace. This one does not. It's just, that's it. It's just 3 parts. Right? So another tricky thing about these is that you have to be really mindful of when you assemble them. And this was one of my least favorite parts, is sometimes if you don't have it assembled right, guess what? You're gonna lose milk. Okay, milk will be dripping out the bottom, and then next thing you know, all your whole underside of your shirt is soaked. So you really need to make sure that you close these well. Okay, so you want to make sure it's sealed. These types of pumps usually have this part up at the top, this little hole, so that once you're done pumping, you can usually just pour your milk out into your vessel that you're gonna store it in. So they have their perks, but they definitely have their downsides too. But I love me a good wearable pump as needed. Also, if you are somebody who is pumping at work, right? We think about when you use a pump, washing your pump parts, right? So I talked about the pump wipes. So those are good. But something that you can also do is just have a Ziploc bag, right? And you can just put your pump bottles and flanges and stuff into the Ziploc bag and stick it right in the fridge. And then you can pull them out and use them. So you don't have to wash them with every use if you put them in the fridge. And you can do that throughout your work shift if need be, and then wash all your stuff when you get home. Just put it in the fridge. Don't leave it out though. Put it in the Ziploc bag. So that's a little hack. Hey, Basic Instincts, welcome in. Okay. Whatever. Pack that up. Because if I don't pack it up now, I'm liable to just leave it here like this when I leave the office, and then I'm going to come back to the office another day and be like, oh, it's a mess in here, because I always do that. I know myself. All right. So we did the manual pump. I mentioned the Haka, and then we just talked about the wearable one. Hey, Coco. Thank you for the daily. Okay. Next up is your electric wall pumps, right? And I'm going to show y'all 2 because right now these are my 2 favorite pumps on the market. So you have your Spectra, and really any of the Spectras are good. I would say probably just going with the more recent one, which I don't even know what number we're up to now these days. I think we're up to like a Spectra 9. If I'm not mistaken. I'll pull this out in a second. And then we have the Similry, which is very close to a Spectra. I think just a little bit more affordable. But both of these are pumps that you would plug into the wall. They have different cycles. This one has a light on it as well. It's not charged. You can charge these too, I think, if I'm not mistaken. No, this is only a wall pump. It's not chargeable. So since it's not plugged in, it's not going to work. But one of the downside, thank you for the shares. Obviously, it's bulky. It's bulky. You have to be stationary because it's going to be plugged into the wall. And you have to sit with it. So for people who are on the go or who have to go to work and carry this thing around, it may not be the most fun thing, but this is like the queen of pumps right here. Okay, so if you want a really good pump that's gonna do its job, this is as close to a hospital grade pump as you're gonna get without hospital grade money. And when I say hospital grade pump, I mean a pump that is high power, which is really great, especially for any moms who might have a premature baby or a baby that's, in the NICU. Or if you're exclusively pumping, which means you're not ever putting your baby to the breast, you are only pumping milk for your baby, you need a strong pump that's going to last. And some insurance companies will only give you a pump every couple years. So if you are planning on having your babies back to back, or maybe you didn't plan on having babies back to back, but you did, you need a good pump that's going to probably last you. Thank you for the fireworks. You need a pump that's going to last you. So if you had a pick right here, if you need a little bit more budget friendly option and something maybe just a little smaller, the Similry is my next pick. Thank you guys. I appreciate y'all. There is this resource right here. Great resource. Let me tell you. Your baby's 16 months apart and insurance will only cover a new pump after 14 months. So you got lucky. But you see how you could have not got lucky. Some won't give you one for 2 years. Like I know, like insurance through the state, at least here in my state, in Connecticut for Husky insurance, you can only get one every 2 years. So you be SOL. And then what happens is, and one was a preemie. Yeah. What happens is sometimes too, is that moms will pick what they think is the cutest pump, the most stylish, like, oh, I want to get this cute little wearable one, or I want to get this little mini one. And then it doesn't work after 6 months. And it's like, well, that's not meant to be a primary pump and you're using it as a primary pump. So that's kind of what happens. So Acceleron is a really, really, really great resource. Save it, remember it, tell your mom friends, save it for you, whatever. They have a great pump comparison grid, okay? And it gives you all of the different types of pumps. Well, not all, but
I can't see anything.
Okay. It gives you a lot of different types of pumps. It tells you how much the pump weighs, the warranty time, the power type. So is it a plug-in? Is it a rechargeable? Does it have, can you use batteries? It tells you the flange sizes that automatically come with it. It tells you the suction strength, the number of modes that it has, if it's dual motor or one. The difference between a dual motor and a single motor is you might have one pump and one pump may only have one motor, which means you have to pump the same thing on both sides, the same cycle, the same strength of suction. You have to do the same thing on both sides. This does have two motors, by the way. I'm just pointing to where the thing is. You'll only see, usually just one. So dual motor is really great because then you can have like level 5 on one side and level 2 on the other side. If one side hurts more or like you're not as full on the other side, a dual motor is like the best. It tells you the different speed cycles, display, if you have an LCD display or extra light, tells you if it comes with bottles, if you can connect it to an app to track, and it tells you about any additional special features. So this grid is really great, and it's a front and back because it has a ton of the different, like the most popular pumps on the market right now. So this is a really great guide to help moms pick what they think will be the best pump for them, depending on what their needs are, why they're using it, how frequently they plan on using it, et cetera, et cetera. So really great. Acceleron is the resource. You can also utilize your insurance to get your pump through them as well. And I get a bunch of goodies from them. Actually, a friend of mine works for Acceleron. So I was doing a training once for peer breastfeeding counselors where I was training some counselors, and I took them to the Acceleron office for like a little field trip, and they got like pump demos, and they got these little packets. That's where I got this from. These little packets, and I got a bunch of stuff. Thank you for the bubble gum.
I like those.
It's just papers. And then I have like this sheet. Thank you. I have this sheet, and it says the different insurances accepted and the types of products provided. And so this is insurances through like all the states and different stuff. Hey, lovely. Thank you for the daily. So again, this is a really great resource. I really love this grid. Like, I don't believe that this is something that you can order. I got this, happy Saturday. I got this when I went to the office. I do know that they have this that grid available virtually on their platform. So you can look up Acceleron. Let me see what it says. Hold on. Acceleron breast pump comparison grid.
It's glass.
Put it back in there. So Acceleron breast pump comparison grid. If you forget and you need it, just DM me, and I will get the information to you. But yeah, you can find that information online as well. I just like having the physical paper copy with me, because when I have clients come to the office, I can go over it with them. Like, excuse me, I'm very much like a paper type of person. Like, I love having stuff on paper. And depending on what you do, like if you're also in the birth field, you may also be able to ask companies for things like this. So the flange fitting tool that I have, but this is just a paper one, and you can like cut these sections out and then you can measure. It also gives you some little hacks for measuring at home. So you can use like a dime, a penny, a nickel, a quarter to measure. You found it? Perfect. So they give you like this little paper measuring tool, and I give these out sometimes when I'm doing vendor shows and different things so that people can take their own measuring tools home. Although I still recommend that they follow up with a lactation consultant to make sure that they measured properly and things like that. But lastly, I didn't mention power pumping. So I have that up here. It's a little crooked. So right at the bottom, it talks about power pumping. Power pumping is a method of pumping that can help to boost your milk supply up. So it would be beneficial. Hey, Michelle, thank you for the repost. It would be beneficial when maybe you're having your period for the month, and some women see a dip in their supply during that time because of the hormones. Some people just their baby's having a growth spurt. They feel like, I don't know, their milk just dipped for whatever reason, or maybe they just didn't have the biggest supply to begin with. Thank you for the daily, and thank you for the pops. And they want to give their supply a boost for whatever the reason might be. You can power pump. Milk is a supply and demand system. So usually the more you tell your body to make milk, the more your body will create the milk. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. That's what support is about. Even if it's not for you or you don't need it, if you can come and support the room, I really appreciate that. Okay, Kaya. I'm finishing up shortly anyway, because I just got that notification for the battle at 1, and I am pretty much done anyway. I made it through the the whole thing. So power pumping is the easiest way to boost your supply without worrying about any supplements or anything crazy. So you pump for 20 minutes, you rest for 10 minutes, pump for 10 minutes, rest for 10 minutes, pump for 10 minutes again. And you can do that like 2 to 3 times a day, like morning, afternoon, and night if you want to. And that can just help your body to produce more milk. So you can do that in between your nursing sessions, before, after, whatever. And that will usually, I tell moms to do that for 2 to 3 times a day, about 3 to 5 days. And they should usually see a difference after like 3 to 5 days or so. If they're having a dip because of their period, they can usually power pump a couple of times a day throughout the duration of their period, or however long they usually see a dip in the supply. So that is pretty much what I had prepared for today for pumps and pumping. Remember that resource through Acceleron for the different types of pumps. And let me see what else I have. What else do I have? Some good books, maybe. Give me a second. Let me fix myself here so I don't look all crazy. Fix myself. Some books that I have. Let me see. Let me put my fan. Not me knocking over the whole tripod. Hey, don't put gum on my seat. All right. Let's see where we at. Okay. So I might use these as some, oh, I was looking for these. I might use these things as some giveaway stuff too. In the near future. But I have like these little, this is a book bag. It's a uterus bag. And I have some plushies. It's a booby plush. And I have little stickers. Those are fun.
But it's funny plushies.
But some good feeding books that I would recommend. Hi Monique, welcome in. Hey Alexa. The Womanly Art of Breastfeeding from La Leche League. It's a really great book. This is The Big Letdown. Also a good book. This, Skimmed, unnecessary read. Breastfeeding, Race, and Injustice. That's all I'm gonna say. Y'all need to read this book if you haven't. Probably my most recommended, easy favorite book, The Nursing Mother's Companion. This is like my go-to recommendation book. It's easy to access. It's cheap. I think it's about $12. Really, 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 really good book. Whenever moms ask me, what's one book you would recommend me to read? I give them that one. This is more so for professionals. Don't put it on the floor. Pick it up right now. Breastfeeding professionals. This is one that I had to use for my IBCLC studies, but the Breastfeeding Atlas. And this is a really good book because it really gives, like, you get images. I'm not going to show too many because I don't want to get flagged. I don't know, but you get different images of, like, you know, stuff to know when it comes to breastfeeding. It's just really a list of the books. Yeah, I got you. I'll give you a list of the books. So yeah, that's books. Oh, I didn't talk about the pump lubricant again. And did I bring it with me this time? I think I bought it. Hold on, it'll be the last thing thing. Yep, I did bring it with me. So this is, I forgot to show this last time. I did talk about it. But this is a pump lubricant. You don't have to buy this and be bougie. You can just use coconut oil and put it on the inside of your flange. But a pump lubricant is really good to help lubricate your flange. And it just helps things to glide a little bit smoother. You don't absolutely have to use a pump lubricant, but I find that the moms who do use them have more comfort and have a little bit more successful output of milk when they use a pump lubricant. So this one is Kobu, but oh, my nose was tickling for a minute. I got goosebumps from that sneeze. Ooh. Yes, so thank you, Alexa. The Womanly Art of Breastfeeding, Skimmed, thank you. The Nursing Mother's Companion, The Big Letdown, and the Breastfeeding Atlas. This is expensive though. This one costs, I think, $100, if I'm not mistaken. If it wasn't $100, it was like $89.99. It was somewhere between $90 and $120. So this is a pretty penny. So yeah, that one is costly, but definitely worth it if you are going into a lactation profession, for sure. So thank y'all for joining Power Hour, all about pumping. I have not decided on next Power Hour segment, but I'll think about it and I'll keep y'all posted. Next Power Hour will be on Wednesday. Thank you for the daily. Will be on Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will pick a topic. I will create an event and I will post it and share it before the weekend is over. Yes, thank you, Alexa. The Womanly Art of Breastfeeding. Okay, Miss Akila, have a good class. The Womanly Art of Breastfeeding, Skimmed, The Nursing Mother's Companion, and The Big Letdown. Yes. And the Breastfeeding Atlas. The Breastfeeding Atlas is the other one. More so for professionals, though. Like, not to say moms don't want that book, but it's not really worth spending that much money on just for mother's use as a professional book. But ending now so I can go to this battle. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Thank you so much. Again, this all Power Hour segments are recorded and they will be uploaded. We've already had segment 1 and 2 uploaded, both as subscriber only posts. So for TikTok, you can go to my my page, my profile, and scroll until you see subscription. You can subscribe. I think it's like $2.50 a month. You can get access to all of the recordings from the Power Hour, or you can become a super fan up top. Super fan is $9.99 a month, but you get access to my YT channel that has the full recordings, and you also get other benefits like special super fan only events like sound baths on Sundays. You can promote your businesses there, promote your live streams, anything that you're doing, have more community, etc., etc. See y'all later. Gotta go.